Today, the third energy audit and third episode of my new series, I'm heading to Takoma Park, Maryland, right outside of DC, almost like right on the Washington, DC, Maryland line. And this is through the PEPCO Home Performance with Energy Star program. And today, the customer wanted to get the audit done because, well, they live in an old house. It's a 1923 build, and the house that the bills were high in the past, and from what I gathered, they replaced the HVAC with a mini split heat pump, and what they're reporting is that the bills are actually higher, and they're also aware of the fact that their insulation is not in great condition, so they're looking to get an assessment and try to figure out what's going on. So let's see. So I just got finished up in Takoma Park, and I think there are 3 takeaways from this energy audit that will help people. I wasn't able to figure out exactly why the energy bill was higher post getting a new system.
Now, having said that, I wanted to stop the video here because, as I do oftentimes in retrospect, I think about things, and I think that what happened here is there was a little bit of an anomaly. And what I mean is that the homeowner had moved into the house December 2021. And what I've also found through the years is that when people usually just move in, they don't think too much about temperature, comfort, they're getting adjusted, the thermostat generally stays where it was, and then once they're adjusted and then the next heating or cooling season hits, you start to see the real habits. And I think that's one of the reasons why this took a huge skyrocketing turn, the bill, because their needs started to become, more apparent, and they started to call upon their heating and cooling more, and as a result the bill went up drastically.
But one thing I can generally say is that anytime a house is not insulated right, the energy costs are always going to be higher than what you want. So in this case, there were 3 takeaways. Number 1, crawl space. If you have an open crawl space below a sunroom, let's say in a sunroom addition, and that room is uncomfortable, then before you put a mini split in, it's always best to assess the insulation. Because if you have an open crawl space, which means you have a vent on the side, one thing I was explaining to this customer that I found through the years is that a lot of times people that have open crawl spaces with vents on the side, they have the biggest complaints about cold floors. So before you put a mini split in to solve a cold floor, you want to have the inspection done on the crawl space below and make sure it's insulated, because just because you see insulation in the ceiling or at the floor, that's probably not going to be the best solution, especially if there's vents on the side. Second takeaway, there was an opening, and actually when you went into the hatch of this attic, so anybody could just poke their head up and see this, and it's been like this since 1923. Well, probably not exactly 1923 when HVAC was installed, but you get the point. And that is that the supplies and the returns that were running through the attic space were not insulated at all. They were naked. So that's a big thing that, if you have a high energy bill and you see ducts that are running outside the crawl space that are not insulated or sealed, then that's going to be probably a tip-off right there as to why. Now, third takeaway from this house, and this is kind of gets into like one of the reasons why I really enjoy what I do. And that is one of the first things I learned when I got into this is that, we're out there, we're looking for the low-hanging fruit, the things that are going to be easy to get to and that are going to, make the most impact for comfort and energy savings. And in this house, we would have to scrap a little. And what I mean by that is you have to do little things at a time in a house like this. It's got a very complicated attic, and there's a bunch of insulation going in different ways. And for the most part, up top it was buttoned up nicely with a little bit of room for improvement. But the big opportunities in this house are also down low in the basement. The entire area was unfinished, leaving the rim and banjoist, and those are always going to be leaky spots in the house. So we got the 3 takeaways from this interesting house, this audit. Thanks for watching. This is the conclusion of my 3rd episode, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Thanks.